Welcome to the T-Bird Zone, shown every week on SUTBirds.com and SUUnews.com. We're in studio with head football coach Ed Lamb, previewing the upcoming match against UC Davis on Saturday afternoon. Coach, UC Davis comes into this game 2-5 record. Their victory is over San Diego 31-3 and Texas San Antonio 38-17. What's the danger of anticipating that Davis is a weak team?
Well, yeah, none of the teams that we play are weak. Well, and there's some clear data to suggest that they're not weak. All we have to do is turn on the video of them playing at South Dakota last week, and they significantly outgained South Dakota, hurt themselves with some turnovers, and South Dakota was able to escape with a 3-point victory. But our guys, it's very fresh in our minds how we struggled at South Dakota to play in that environment and against that defense and that offense. And UC Davis is a team on the rise. They're constantly improving. They won our conference championship 2 years ago. They have many of the same players. They play with tremendous pride, and they're very well coached. There's just no room to overlook anybody in our conference.
The last 2 years, Southern Utah has put up 50-plus points against UC Davis. Really blowout wins in both cases. What worked during those games, and is that something that is anticipated to be carried over on Saturday?
Well, it's never our plan. If we went out with the anticipation we were going to score 50 points on an opponent, then we would probably panic and succumb to our own pressure. I mean, you just feel like you can never punt in that situation. What's happened the last couple of years is, we've gotten on the board with our offense certainly, but our defense and our special teams has also scored. And we scored on a punt return 2 years ago. We scored on defense 2 years ago and last year as well on interception returns. So that's kind of made the score, I think, a little bit, the margin of victory a little bit larger than what it might have been if you just take the total yardage and first down type stats.
What are the strengths that UC Davis brings to the table on Saturday?
Well, they're very soundly coached. They've got a coaching staff that's been at it for a long time, a head coach that's been at it for a long time. I think they at one point they had 17 conference championships in a row as they were making the Division II transition. I mean, they have a way of doing things that that has produced some of the top coaches in the country. You look around at Boise State and Texas Christian and all over the country, there are coaches that have come through the UC Davis pipeline as players and coaches. They have a system of offense that hasn't changed. They emphasize the pass. They have run the ball increasingly better each week, and I think they ran the ball really efficiently at South Dakota a week ago. And they play very aggressive on defense. In fact, a year ago they played so aggressive and so they were so not intimidated by us that they really went in with an aggressive blitz package. And that was a courageous thing for them to do, and we ended up getting some big plays against their blitz, but it could have gone the other way. We could have taken some sacks, and it could have worked out for them as well.
Are there individual players to watch on the field for Davis?
Sure. Well, it all starts with them every year. They've had some amazing quarterbacks, some NFL caliber quarterbacks come through there, and the quarterback at the helm right now is Randy Wright. Very capable. He's very good with his reads. He gets rid of the ball on time, has an excellent arm, can throw the ball to the flat all the way across the field. He can make all the throws. They've got receivers that are well coached and run excellent routes, and probably their offensive line is one of the better coached offensive lines that I've went against in terms of picking up blitzes. They also have a very productive defensive end. Bobby Erskine does a wonderful job for them on defense, and they've got some players around him that really hustle.
When putting together these scouting reports for these given teams, Davis and ourselves, we've played similar opponents. Does that help in the scouting report to see how they've matched up against defenses that we've faced?
A little bit. I think in the case of like South Dakota, for example, their most recent game, that's always the game we would pay the most attention to, and the breakdown would be the most recent. But we understand certain of South Dakota's players and how good they are, and to see how Davis's players matched up against them. In terms of the offense, defense, we're more looking for, and we would like to see Davis's offense against a defense that's similar to what we run, not necessarily a team that we've played. But certainly for evaluating personnel, it helps.
You talked about how turnovers were the key to South Dakota beating Davis last weekend. Davis seems to have just a turnover bug. They average about 3 per game, and our defense has been close to creating 3 turnovers per game. Is that really going to be the key to this game as well, the turnover battle?
It's always the key to every game. It was the key for us last week against Weber State, and the key is we were losing a couple of games and not being up on the right side of the turnover takeaway battle. There's, UC Davis, they're not turning the ball over in the same way all the time. I think they've had a little bit of misfortune. They've played some great opponents with some very good defensive players. I don't anticipate that they're going to come in and turn the ball over. We'll have to take it away.
Now, currently Southern Utah's winless in the conference. This is the final conference game for us this year. You had talked about at the coaches' luncheon the revamped goals now for the team going through the rest of the year. What are those goals?
As I said before, our team has learned from the hardship, the losses this season, and so have I. And one of the things that I think I needed to learn, at some point 2, 3, 4 years ago when I first took this job, I was of the opinion that in order to get a conference championship and get to the national championship playoffs, that we needed to begin talking about that and have that as part of our goals. And this year I've changed my philosophy as we've suffered some losses. I think that we had outgrown those goals. Our goals currently are to go 1-0 every single week. And for example, at this point, we can't look back at the Weber State game and say, well, we need to go on a 2-game winning streak. If we're to start looking back, then we need to look back through our losses as well. Our only goal, our only accomplishment is to beat UC Davis this week.
Are there maybe some unsaid goals of a byproduct of these going 1-0 each week, that maybe that playoff berth is possible, finishing the year out with a 4-game winning streak?
We're not talking about playoffs at all.
Very good. Could have gone on a Jim Mora rant for a second there, but I appreciate you that you didn't.
Sure.
Nice. What's the key matchup then for the game on Saturday? We talked about turnovers being important, but on the field, what's the key battle?
It's the physical nature of our style of play. We've got to impose our physical nature. We've got to dominate our defensive line against their offensive line, and our offensive line's got to dominate their defensive line. That's the way it's always has to go for us. When we rush for 100 yards, we're 4-0. When we don't rush for 100 yards, then we're 0-4. The character of our team is becoming very, very clear.
Okay. Again, that game on Saturday, kickoff 1 o'clock. You can hear it live on Power 91, KSUU. Also watch it live on KMYU. If you'd like more of a preview of UC Davis, join Coach Lamb at Sunday Boys Barbecue Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. As always, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.